Hey everybody, and welcome to the Mind Shift. It's a podcast for those that know that there's more to life and want to live your extraordinary, and we discuss tools to be able to help you to get there. My very special guest today is Mark Guyton. So I want to open up by saying, Mark, great to see you for one. We don't get to see each other a lot since I moved, and thank you for making the time and for being here to be on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Very excited to be here.
Excited is the word. I've been thinking about this and looking forward to having you on the podcast for quite some time, and I'm really just so pleased you decided to do it because for a couple of reasons or a few reasons. One is we've known each other a long time. We were just discussing it. We met up beforehand, and we reckoned it's on 14 years that you've been in the work and applying it to your life. And I just know from that time, we have a lot of different things that we discuss in this work. And, when I think of you, I think of someone who has done all of them. And I was saying to you before we started that it's interesting. We probably should share the story about you were skeptical in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So we should talk about that a little bit. But I will just briefly say, when you decided to do the work, you were a completely open, you trusted the process, you gave yourself to it, which isn't always easy. And, when I think of what you've become and who you've become and what you've done with it, I just can't wait to get into it. So, should we start there? Probably is a good place to start. You weren't kind of keen at the beginning, right? Because I ended up working with your son came to see me first. You're a very young son, and I think you thought at the time.
Yeah, I saw such an instant change in my son, and I really didn't trust what was going on, and that's why I was apprehensive to it.
Yeah.
Until I actually came along and saw it myself.
But there's something about you, Mark, because you showed up. The first time I think you didn't want to come and didn't want to have a bar of it, and then you saw a change in your son. And you said, and I could see your mind ticking over, and you just went, hey, will this help me do this and that? And from then it's been history. So look, there are so many things that we can talk about. And I know when we got together and I said, hey, Mark, what would you like to talk about? You put forth a couple of things, and they're so powerful. I can't wait to get into them. So, the first thing that you said was that you want to discuss is the only thing that was capable, that what you've understood is the only thing that's capable of limiting you from your big dreams was you. And you acknowledging that you always had all the power and didn't know it. I think if there's a topic for everyone to hear and be able to have their lives changed, it'll be that. So I'd love to just throw you in the deep end and say, where would you start with that? What could you share about getting that, or maybe what it was like before getting that and what's happened?
Yeah. I had my perception of how the world works and how different people work and things around me from when I was a very young guy. It's just what I was brought up with. And I didn't realize how much I had to give. My schooling wasn't great. I'm not an academic sort of a bloke, and so I viewed myself as dumb back from very, very young age. Yeah. And once we started working through different things, I worked out that I wasn't, and that I was the block on myself. Yeah.
Like it's so fascinating, Mark, because you think of people and you think, how would I describe this person? And if I were just to take you, I would say switched on, like from a mental perspective. You've we were talking earlier today, and I said to you, this work, my job is really to hold a mirror up to people to see what's already inside of you. Like, occasionally we'll discuss something that's a piece of knowledge or a tool or something, but really it's you can appreciate that, right? It's a mirror that you hold up, and you start digging through what you always thought you were but weren't, and what you actually really are. And what interests me about you is that story. Like you there's some really challenging concepts in the work. And my recollection of you, we were recalling memories earlier, and for that period of time, being 14 years, we both have some really specific memories about how this work has gone. And when I think of you, it's like the ability to grasp some concepts that aren't every day, like that, and to me, your level of intelligence it's like a really deep intelligence. And it's just so fascinating to hear that you came from a place of thinking you were dumb. And I'm like, because the word I would use to describe you amongst all is actually super intelligent. And it's just fascinating to think about it. So should we start with maybe what would give you that impression, right? Like what gives an obviously really intelligent person, because as we develop this conversation, it'll get into what you've done, some of the things that you've accomplished, which are numerous.
Yeah.
What could give you the idea so that you weren't smart, that you were dumb?
Yeah. It's quite funny when I think back on it, and you reflect of how you felt when you're 12-year-olds standing in front of a classroom, having to read something off a bit of paper and being nervous and not being a great reader as well, and just how limiting that is how limiting it was on me as a person. That's one strong memory that I still have. We've dissolved that, which I'm super grateful for.
Yeah.
And so that was at a very young age. And then with knowing that, I've probably started acting more and more in that way, and schooling really didn't suit me at all. And then as I got out of school, I still didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I was lucky enough that my father employed me in his business, and it turned out I was okay at what I did there. But through that, even I was told that that was sort of my role, and that's what I'll be for my life. And I just believed that and accepted that, because that's how I felt of myself.
Yeah.
But since I worked out that they were my stories, they weren't anyone else's stories, just mine, then I've been able to change my mindset and viewed myself in a more positive way.
Yeah, I mean it's quite a big thing to do, isn't it? Because you carry that through a period of your life, and from memory, it was like when you struggled to read that. I mean, if you think of a 12-year-old, or trying to read something in front of a classroom, you just get nervous. Like who's not going to fear judgment and from memory, it was a teacher that kind of, or the class sort of laughed, and the teacher made a remark, and that quickly, oh right, I'm dumb. Right, I got it now. Right,
Yeah.
And we might think that that's a moment in time, but it isn't, is it? It gets recorded, indelibly recorded in the mind, and we don't even know that it happened yet. So can you talk to, like, how did it affect you? Like what? So if you carried that story through life, I know it's interesting the way you said that, because we had a lot of conversations about this. And when I hear you talk about it now, what's inspiring to me is you're like, oh yeah, that's the story I've dissolved, it's gone. And I'm like, but it had a big impact, didn't it? And throughout the course of your life, before you started to address it.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, it's it affected me how I behaved when if I felt if my perception was that someone thought I was dumb, then I'd act out because of it. I wouldn't be my authentic self. I might yell, or I might purposely not do what they want, or any number of things. And there's so limiting, because it just keeps compounding that whatever you're feeling, you feel it more and more and more.
And then it has more debilitating impact. So
yeah.
So in the end, what did you see? Like how was it limiting to have that, to take something on that we obviously now know is not true, never was, but you didn't know that, you believed it to be true. In what ways was that limiting throughout your life until you came to face it?
I missed out on so many opportunities, whether it's professional opportunities or personal opportunities. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is the opportunities, because I didn't realise what I was actually capable of.
So you kind of like hide yourself away, or go into a shell kind of thing, would you say?
And in some situations, you certainly, I wouldn't put myself forward as being a strong, confident person. Yeah, a quite shy person, and kept to myself a lot.
Yeah, for those watching that actually know you, they'll probably be surprised to hear that, because I've known you long enough to know, and you've been a person that has introduced me to a lot of people, or vice versa. So I know some of the people in your life, they would just see you as the opposite of that, right? Like such a confident guy who is a real creator in life. And and makes things happen, which we know. So I guess along that line, where would you say the biggest difference? So you came in and I guess realized that you had that story, right? Would that be fair to say the first thing to do is to say, oh, that's okay, that's what it is that's stopping me?
Yeah.
Well, what would you say that as far as what we've done? So this podcast is all about sharing tools with people. There's people out there that were in the position you were in, which is inside yourself, you just knew that there was more. Like, because although you have that story deep inside, there was a place in you that knew, I'm meant to do extraordinary things. Or would you agree?
Yeah.
Like there was that inner calling. It's just, how do I get to it? And this podcast is really, people that have been courageous like you to share, to go on the journey to share some of the tools. So what would you say to people of, okay, you identified that, which is the first step, that you identified, hey, that's a block. What would you say that essentially, you doesn't have to go step by step in the process, but what did you do to change that? Like, it was obvious to me as you're talking about it, it's not even a thing for you now, is it? Like when you mentioned it, you remember how important it was in the beginning? And it was just like a mention, oh yeah, I had that story, and dissolve that. And people, if I'm out there, I'm going, what do you mean? How did you dissolve something that had that kind of impact? So what would you say to people that want to do that? How do you clear it on such a level?
Yeah. For me, it was accepting it and finding the benefits in it. Is that teacher talking to me the way he did in front of everyone, which I perceived was horrible. It really wasn't. That changed from that point. It changed me, but I only saw the negative side of it. I didn't see what that teacher was actually doing for me.
Yeah.
And now I'm grateful that he did it, and he was doing his job.
Yeah, and it was a while ago, but can you remember anything? Because you won't be the only one that's in that position. How many people go to school and feel I'm not the smart one?
Yeah.
And then you get forced to maybe do a presentation or something, and you get nervous, and then because you're nervous, it doesn't come out right, and then because it doesn't come out right, the class laughs, or the teacher, says something. So what I'm hearing is that wasn't the undoing of you; it was also the making of you in some sense.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I mean, it was a while ago, but what can you remember? Can you remember about what you saw? What did you get to develop as that out of that?
At the time, I didn't know it was happening, but I got a lot of resilience out of it, and a lot of internal strength.
Yeah.
That's what he was teaching me.
Yeah, and do you mind if I add something there? Just because we had a lot of chats.
Yeah, go for it.
This just drive, as this unfolds, some of the things you've been able to create, I think and hope will come out. It really drove you to, like, when I think about, I've said it before, but I really mean it. Like, you bring such a sincerity to the work, an openness to, you get it. Like, it's not the easiest stuff to get. If I'm, probably not the best thing to say about it, but it's true. This work is not the easiest. It's just, I had someone say to me that I worked with for a while. He said, sure, that this is not the easiest work to do, but if you do it, the rest of your life will be totally changed.
Yeah.
And so when you think about that, what changed? Like, what did you see, and what changed for you?
There are a lot of things that changed just on this one specific thing. I became, once I worked it out, I became far more relaxed, far more open-minded, and the size of my vision just almost instantly grew. There was a lot of other things we collapsed through that period as well, but just the more that I'd done, the bigger my vision was able to be, and the clearer I got, there's the more that came to me.
And so what area, like, where would you say if you think about life and the pursuits we have, what area would you say, I know they were all areas for you, but what comes to mind first when you say, okay, because when you talk about collapsing, it means, dissolving, you've used words like dissolving, collapsing, which is what we talk about, but it's essentially like really addressing those stories and really getting how not true they are, and also how they had two sides to them.
Yeah.
And where we are, as you say, consciously aware of the detriment to that. It's all those hidden gifts that were in it that, we in the work we seek and you find. So what would you say the biggest difference? Where in your life has if people out there watching going, what can I get from looking at myself and dealing with it, uncovering and dealing with those stories? What have you been able to do?
There's not just one area for me. It's my whole life, from business to relationship, financial, it's spiritual. It's just all around. And I was very fortunate to be able to bring it into my business so much as well, and help build a culture, which is really cool.
So can you say more about that? When you say build a culture, what was it like, and what happened as a result of you, connecting more with who you are?
I think it was very business was there to make money. That was the first part, and that was always my highest priority, and you did it at any cost. But as I relaxed more and was more open and got rid of some of the triggers that I had because of my perceptions of earlier on, then it wasn't about making money. Mm-hmm. We became more fun, more relaxed, and the money part just came.
Yeah,
it sounds weird, but I stopped focusing on money, and it came more.
Yeah. So do you remember where your focus shifted? I know it's been a wee while since this has all started, but when you say it shifted, in what way did it shift, in the sense of when you stopped coming from that background?
It shifted more to people, and I think I just became more aligned with myself, really, and that's what made people more important to profit. But profit was always important as well. You have to have it, run a business, don't you? You can't not.
Yeah.
But by my focus shifting to people and opportunity and that type of thing, then it just became a lot easier.
Yeah, and I know the answer to this question, but for the sake of the watcher or the listener, what happened to the profits when you made that shift?
Oh, it definitely went north. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like.
Yeah, I had quite small targets and quite small mindset at the beginning, and I just kept on seeming to hit the target and go, oh, that was kind of easy-ish.
Yeah.
Let's make them a bit bigger, and then I got to a point where I just wouldn't limit my potential of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big thing to say, isn't it? Because I've been in the world of success for, I don't know, 3 decades or a bit more now, involved in that whole working with successful people or people wanting to be successful. And, the main way that I see in the world that we get there is drive. We talk about, if you look at most books and, podcasts and et cetera, at least the ones that I've seen, it's all about drive. How do I get more drive? People will come to me and go, how do I get more drive? And I say, no, I'm not the one for that. I want to help you get less drive. And they're like, what do you mean? Well, I don't want less drive. But they don't realize that less drive and more, you said the word, Mark, I'd love to delve into it more alignment with self, which is what we do, right? What's certainly what we focus on, brings what greater degree, firstly? Like, I think, if you're happy to share it, to what magnitude did everything grow once you did that?
Oh, well, it was hard to put it in words, actually. More aligned I got, and it's something that keeps happening. It's still happening now. It's not a one fixed thing, but just opportunities get bigger and bigger in all areas of my life. It's just incredible.
And you said earlier that they become easier. They come easier.
Yeah, I used to try and force things, and you'll remember that when in the earlier days, and I was trying to force what I wanted in a business, and I was becoming really, really frustrated, and couldn't work out why it wasn't happening for me.
Yeah,
and that was it. I was driven.
Well, I knew that you were going to bring up, we call it gold here, or just, such insightful things. I knew there were going to be a lot coming out, and this is just such an important one, which is why I'm pushing into it a little bit because it's simply the way that we've always been taught. If the more drive, the more, it's got a force energy. But I think you can see now over the years that we've been in this conversation, it actually creates resistance. It creates struggle.
Yeah.
Right? You get the opposite of and everything becomes harder and harder and harder. And when you just let go, which is, I guess you could say, would you agree, it's in a sense easier said than done? Because I think one thing that needs, I'm all about honesty. And one thing that I want to be honest about is it takes a tremendous amount of courage to hold up the mirror. Would you agree? Like it's not the easiest thing to do to say, I'm going to take an honest look at myself and be willing to open myself up to see where am I being authentic and where am I being not authentic.
Yeah. That mirror was difficult at times. There's parts of me I didn't like at all.
Yeah. But you were willing to see them and say,
yeah,
are they authentic? And I think, what would you say about having done that?
I'm just so much happier.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard for me to explain, but once I was authentic, and I'm not perfect at it. There's days where I struggle, and there's certain triggers that I still work on, but I do work on them, and that's a big part, I think, to keep working.
Yeah.
But the prize at the end of it is amazing.
Yeah. What would you say about that? Amazing. In what way?
Fulfillment, time, energy, health. It's just every aspect of your life that you can think of, it has an impact on it.
Yeah.
And once for me, once I was more aligned, and I had a much greater impact on other people as well. I think they might disagree, but that's how I feel.
I know some of them.
Yeah.
I think if you're being honest, you'll say that you've impacted a lot of people, Mark. You're a humble guy, but if we're being honest, you've really positively impacted a lot of people. I know because I've seen some of them. You've actually really changed lives with, we live in a place where we're not supposed to say these things, but yeah. I don't think it's really helping anyone. I don't think it's helping anyone to not acknowledge who we are and that we're actually making a difference. And, you're making a real difference to people. Like the people in your company, we were talking about it this morning, you've now brought people up to, that you're now turning things over to, and your authenticity has helped them to get the best out of them. And now they're having an opportunity in life that they wouldn't have otherwise have had, if truthfully speaking.
Yep.
They just wouldn't have had that without who you are and what you've seen in them and how you brought it out of them.
Yeah. That's one of the really, really cool things that I'm so grateful for, is to have actually worked out what my purpose is, and that being to generate wealth, and not necessarily for myself, but for other people that are around me as well, which is pretty cool.
Well, that in and of itself is something quite powerful, because it is something that you connected with. That's who you were. And, we're 14 years down the road. And if you think about what you've accomplished along that line, so, the reason I'm bringing that up is an important part of the mind shift is there's a lot of people that just say, oh, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do, but it's not necessarily authentic to them. And so it's kind of like if it feels like this incessant drive for something that's not actually fulfilling them. You used the word fulfillment earlier, and it's not actually fulfilling them. They keep driving, but when you realize what it is that you're really here to do, and it's just something different, isn't it? And it's interesting that you talk about that wealth was there for you, which I think I'm hearing, and I think I know because I know you, that wealth has grown tremendously for you, but it's in the process of growing it, helping to grow it for everyone else. You've just got to come along for the ride and get, I'm assuming, everything you want and more from your own journey.
Yeah.
Is that a fair way to say it?
I've had far more than I'd ever thought that I'd have.
And in the meantime, the beauty of that is you've helped so many other people to do that as well.
Yeah.
And that's the journey less traveled, isn't it? Like if I think about success, it's about me and I'm going to do this and where's the real magic? And I think people get scared when they think of, if I help that person along, it's going to cost me. So what cost am I prepared to pay? You're saying something magical here, Mark, and I hope people get it.
Mm.
I think you're saying that by letting all that go, caring about other people, the whole thing has gone somewhere
it just seems to multiply. And another interesting area is sponsorship and donations. When I sponsor a few different people in different categories, and at the beginning, we didn't have a lot of money when we started sponsoring, but thought it'd be a great thing to do, and I've never missed the money that goes out to that type of thing. It always seems to get replaced somehow, and we don't sponsor for ego or anything like that. It's a genuine thing that we do. So it's just the more you help, the more that comes back.
Yeah, I mean, from my experience, you've said the magic word. The more you help from a genuine place, the more that you're doing it for the genuine reason rather than a motive. Like we talk a lot about motives, and there's often a lot of motives in people giving, isn't there? Like we're giving, but what are we wanting? Are we giving because it just genuinely feels the thing to do, that's the fulfillment itself? Or if we really search deeply in ourselves, do we have some sort of hidden motive, to do it? And is that what you're saying? Because that's what I think I'm hearing, is that relationship between once you started doing it authentically, it's coming back to you more so.
Yeah, and it gives us an opportunity to give more and more, which is pretty neat.
And receive more and more.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think this is so important. Some of the topics that are coming out here, and again, I'm so appreciative of you being here and giving us a chance, because this is all about how, digging deeper and deeper, and which is what we do. But what are the goal? What goal do we find as we do that? And I think that's the thing. When we get authentic, it opens us up, doesn't it, to just open the doors to bring everything in, and that's probably kind of foreign for a lot of people to hear.
Yeah, and that's understandable as well, because it goes against everything that we're taught, I believe.
Yeah, got to work hard, got to make it about you.
Yeah,
it's you. You got to win the fight.
Yeah.
You're going to win. Somebody's going to lose.
Yeah.
And you remember that world?
Yeah. I do. I don't love it much.
No, it's stressful, isn't it? It's like
yeah.
So I think you've said it, but what would you say to people about the world that you've come to? Because it's a lot of courage to let go of that and trust that I'm just going to get authentic with myself. I'm going to care about people. I'm going to stay true to your business mission and do all of that, but in a way where you bring everybody along for the ride, genuinely, not just sorry to say, but like not just to write a book about it. So a lot of people write a book about it or talk about it and say it, but they don't do it. It's a whole different thing to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
To actually put it into play. But what's the difference? So instead of that world, what would you say opens up?
For me, it's just opened up an abundance of happiness and opportunity. I think I've said that so many times. But I struggle to put it any other way.
I think I keep asking because I don't think we can hear that enough.
Yeah.
Happiness and true abundance. How many people are looking for that in everything that we're seeking? All the hard work, all the forcing, all the struggling, all the winning, that's what we're actually looking for. And I think why I keep asking you this in different ways is because I hope the message gets across for people that it can help, that that's not where the happiness is.
No, it's not. And it comes back to the mirror again. I think everyone wants more, and they do want to be authentic, but if you can't reflect in that mirror and work out why things don't keep working for you, or why you struggle and why you struggle and why you struggle, if you don't reflect on that, then it's very, very difficult to make that change.
Yeah, and take something to do. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So on that note, what does it take? What does it take for someone to say, I'm going to open up to an entirely different way of looking at things and conversation. I'm going to look at myself with a different degree of honesty. What does it take? Can you remember?
Yeah, I do. For me, it's probably different for a lot of people, but for me, it was getting rid of some guilt that I had. If I did better, then I'd feel guilty. Yeah. And that still comes back every now and again as well. It's a work on for me. And if I bought I love cars. It's my thing. If I bought a nice car, then I might feel guilty of someone else.
Yeah.
Or if I went on on a holiday and flew at the front of the airplane, then I might feel guilty of someone else that I know. And I had a fear of talking about money and talking about my achievements, which again, that's something that I still work on. But once I was over that, it made it so much easier.
Yeah. Well, let's roll up the sleeves a little bit here, because first I want to say you said something twice, and I wanted to acknowledge it the first time, that it's a work on. And I really appreciate you saying that, because, I'll say it in front of you that the work can really create some really significant life transformations. Fair enough to say?
Yes.
But it's not a one-off. It's not like, I did that and I never have to deal with that again. I really appreciate that you're bringing up. It's work in progress. Yes, it significantly gets better. So the workplace that you're from now is way different than where you were, or, along the way. It's transformational, but it isn't a one and done. And I think that's important because I always talk about the work as a lifelong process of progress, right? Of transformational progress towards something, not a quick fix of getting to the end. So it's an amazing journey. So I appreciate you bringing that up. But I want to roll the sleeves up on this a bit, because, in the time I've done this, how many people want money in life? If you actually sat down with somebody and said, okay, you can struggle financially for the rest of your life, or you can have all the things that you'd love to have, cars and trips and whatever it is whatever your dream lifestyle. How many people would say, oh, I want that dream lifestyle? Yet, when you have just a bit of it, if we can go into that guilt for a minute, because you will not be the only one having it.
Yeah.
I know even personally. Can you say a little bit more about what's that guilt about, right? And what did you experience in your life? Because this is what blocks people from achieving the financial dreams that they have, that they've got. So if you don't mind talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What can you say a little bit more about what was the guilt for? Like, and what were you experiencing that created a block to that?
Yeah. I think the biggest part of my guilt was doing better than my peers. And not wanting to stand out above them, and then I reflect on that as well. There's some people that I know, peers. They have far more connection to their families, so they're richer in that area than me.
Yeah,
and they groups that they're in and sporting and things like that, they're far richer than me. And that's how I've been able to balance my type of wealth to their type of wealth, and that, because it is we're all as wealthy as each other, and
wow,
to the same degree, differently.
Yeah,
and it was powerful for me to learn that and to fully understand what that actually means, because you can say it, but until you feel it and you can fully understand, you can fully see that person's equal to me differently.
Yeah.
Then until I fully understood it, I couldn't dissolve it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't think I answered that very well. But
I think you're saying some pretty amazing stuff there. So I'm going to tell a story. You always have the power to cut something out if it was too personal, but
yeah.
A story is coming to mind. There's so many we could pick from, but I just remember you wanted, as we started to look at that and you started to do it, you go, sure, I want to tell you something. I said, yeah. I've wanted a Porsche for like a long time, and I've never allowed myself to have one. So I could have one, but I never allowed myself to have one. And without naming anyone, there were certain close people in your life that you felt, if I drove it over there, which you'd love to do, what are they going to think? And I don't want them to feel bad. And so this is where the guilt is, right? And I'm saying this, Mark, because you're not the only one doing it. This is precisely what's blocking us all from having the financial life that we love, which is, it's not good or bad. Finance is a part of life.
Yeah.
If we enjoy things that money can buy, that's not bad, right? I'm going in the face of a lot of thinking right now, but that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
And I just remember when you dissolved that guilt, and because what I remember you getting was, hey, if I don't do that, what message am I sending them? I'm limiting them. And I remember when you did get it, and you drove it to an appointment, you said, come, I got something to show you. And it was the joy on your face, right? There was no ego in it. There was no, oh, look at me, I've got this car. It was just joy. And then I have to share the story, because one of those people, you ended up driving that to go and see one of these people, and then they actually contacted me and said, I want to be a bit more financial. And so instead of reflecting to them what they couldn't have. We've reflected them what they could have.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
Okay. I keep things,
Yeah.
unless you come out and publicly say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually said, I want to do it. And so you had that impact on people. And I think if you look carefully at the people that work, with you, they all have benefited from that mind state that you've shared. So this is what it is. It's like, what we end up doing, and this is just such a powerful part of your story, is hiding ourselves away. I think of what you said and about your big dreams. Well, these are the things that keep us from it. And, whose business is it if you've got a car that you love? And I say that, I remember this person one time coming to do some work, and they wanted to be more financial. And then a guy drove by in a car like that, right? A really nice car. There was a Ferrari or something. And just without thinking about it, they turned and went, "Oh, it must be a jerk." And I went, "Do you realize just before this, we were talking about you wanting finance.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you've associated it with somebody being bad. And this is precisely what stops us." And something that I'd hoped would come out in our conversation is just changing your relationship to money and to enjoying your life, because why shouldn't we enjoy? Why shouldn't we live and enjoy our life?
Yeah. That brings another thought of the person driving the Ferrari. When I learnt that the polarity, half people like you, half them won't. There's not a thing you can do about it. So why worry about the half that don't? And that was another thing that helped me achieve my financial goals.
Would you just repeat that for everyone? Because that's a big thing to say, and something people may not, because there's a lot of people out there, and I've been there trying to get everybody to like me. So could you just repeat that again, please?
There'll be 50% of people that like you and 50% won't. So why worry about the 50 that don't like you? Because you can't change their perception, and it's only perception whether you like something or someone or a smell or a particular look. It's just a perception. So don't worry about the other 50%.
Yeah, you're never going to please everyone, right? You're never going to please everyone, because no matter what you do, someone's going to like what you do, and someone isn't going to like what you do, because there'll be people that go, "Oh, Mark, your car, it's wonderful," and right, and there's other people go, "Oh, Mark, look at Mark, and who does he think he is?" And it's like, the way that I would say it now is, whose business is it, right? And if someone else is in your business, I guess that's their prerogative, but that's their life they're wasting, rather than to create their own dreams. Mm-hmm. So if there's anything to add, as I know there are many areas that you can contribute to, and I appreciate your openness today. Somebody's out there saying, "Look, I want to be financial. I want to live my financial dream." What would you say what would you say to them to get started on that journey, or to make a leap in that journey?
It's real interesting question. I think, have your vision, not so much a goal. We talk about goals are so important, but a vision is the first place, and then get to know yourself a wee bit better. Find out what your fears are. Get rid of your fears, and just keep your eye on that vision and things that you want, like cars if that's your thing, like your family if that's your thing, but just stay true to it and don't stop.
Yeah, I just hope if you're watching this, you might just replay that little bit, because it was about a minute to say, but a lifetime of benefit from hearing that.
Yep.
Beautifully put. So I guess the next thing, Mark, is, I think another really great thing as I think about you as successful, and I think it's coming out in our chat here, that you are quite highly successful in the business financial realm. But I also know that you're quite the family man. You have an extraordinary relationship with your wife, Joan.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll just throw it open to you. How did you achieve? Because you just have this great family life. Your son's older now, and going to talk to him as well on one of these episodes. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And you just have this really close-knit family. A lot of times people have really great business and financial success. It's at the cost of that, and certainly not for you, because I know your family and you're all quite close. So what would you say to people that go, "Well, hey, can I have both?"
Most definitely you can. Yeah. And it's probably not as hard as people think. At the beginning, I did put too much effort into money and business, and that was at the detriment to other areas of my life. But once you can balance all of them and and understand your priorities in each area and know that they are important to you, then you can have the whole lot.
And if someone's out there saying, how do I get that balance? Like, I know I want it, but I'm not getting it. What can they do?
The old theory of work hard, work hard, work hard, pull back on that a wee bit and apply the energy through there. It's how much energy you put into something is how much you get back.
And if I said, look, I feel like I keep finding myself at work and I really want to put more energy here, how can I do that? How can I see that wish through?
Just same as what you do for your work. You've got your aspirations there. Just change it. Just simply focus on it. Make it a priority, and it will become a priority. If it's right there, it'll happen. If it's not, maybe it's not.
What I'd like to do is get some sort of magic moment buzzer. When there's a magic moment in the conversation, hit it. I would just hit it then. Just do it, right? Like,
yeah,
get to that level of commitment and do it. Okay, so you said that there was something else you wanted to talk about, and I'm really thankful you're doing this too, because it's not a conversation that's even talked about much, and to the degree, the level that you will, can be really, really helpful. So you said you wanted to talk about how pain used to control a lot of what you did and didn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just throw that open for you.
As a kid, early adulthood, actually probably a bit longer than that, if I'm honest, I'd have terrible migraines. It really impacted me and tunnel vision, so you can't do a great deal, and you end up in a dark room, isolated to yourself, and then it comes right after a period of time. And I never knew what that was or why it happened, and you get some pills which didn't really help it at all. The doctors subscribed your stuff, and so it's one thing that I had. And I had back pain as well, and it was as we went through and we collapsed different things and understand a bit more, that was me. It was stress related thing that I did when I become stressed in specific situations. My migraine would hit, or my back pain, and it was debilitating.
Yeah. So, do you still have them?
No. If I get a headache, I can get rid of it in seconds now. So they still come.
I mean, one of the things that you're bringing up here, and it's I mean, some people this is going to be really foreign to, and other people are onto it, but maybe would love to hear more, is the connection between mind and body. There's so many people out there, what do you mean collapsing, and then the mind, the headache goes away, the migraine goes away. What are you talking about, right? So what was the link? Because there's so many things you've done. The more that you talk about, the more that I realize you've done, and things that you've addressed in the work. And again, because you're so honest, you never held anything back. If you had a problem, you'd bring it and say, "Hey, I've got this going on. Can we do something? Can we look at it?"
Yeah.
And with the way that you approached it, with the sincerity that you approached it, you've accomplished so many different things. And so this one has to do with the mind-body, which is interesting because it's how we met in relation to something that was happening with your son initially, a health condition, but and what we did with the mind to be able to help shift that. So what's the relationship? If you could talk a little bit more about when you say collapsing, what did you do? And I know what happened to the migraine as a result, but could you share with us?
Yeah.
What was the link here? What happened?
Yeah, for me, my migraines were driven by unrealistic expectations of myself. So I'd say back to school days, I'd have an exam coming up, and not being great at school, that would cause me a hell of a lot of stress, and it would really be building up in my body, and then migraine would hit, and it might be the day of the exam. So I wouldn't have to go to an exam.
It's a motive, right? Hidden motive that you didn't even know.
Yeah.
And so then,
after I managed the unrealistic expectation, knowing that it's unrealistic, I'm not going to get an A. That was unrealistic. Go for a C mark, then you're fine.
Yeah.
And or whatever area it might be, and it might be a financial goal, or even having to meet with people that you maybe didn't want to meet.
Yeah.
But once I realised that those goals weren't realistic, and did something about that, then the migraines go away.
So the physical condition goes away when we realise there's a mental understanding, and it is something that we talk about, right? Like we do the lemon exercise where you act like you're eating a lemon, and you're not really eating one, but the body goes through the whole thing. It's like that's the connection between the mind and the body. So, I mean, what I'm getting from listening to you, and it's called the mind shift. We've developed, and I think what do you think? Because you've been with us since before that whole name for quite a long time. You reckon that captures what we're all about?
It's continual mind shifts that I've had.
Yeah, and what they can do, right? Like it's the mind shift creates the financial shift. The mind shift creates the health shift. The mind shift creates the family shift. And this is what this podcast is all about. And it's I just love for as many people as possible to really understand that, to grasp that, and to see what it can do in their lives if you wake up to, right? A lot of the work, would you say it's a wake-up call?
Yeah.
That's what I kind of say. It's a wake-up call, because I got one. I mean, my past was in drugs, and I got a wake-up call, Sri, that this is not who you are. And you've just been believing something all this time that's led you to this life, and you can change that. And, as you said, it's been a process of going on 40, for 30 plus, more than 30 years. But it is still a process. But wow, the difference that's happened along the way when you start opening up to what I'm believing isn't true. And there are two sides to every story.
Yeah.
And if I look at the other side instead of going to the negative side, what can actually happen? And you've accomplished so many things out of that. So was there anything else that you would love to share? So, I reckon people watching this podcast are people like us. They know that there's more to life. They want to get everything they can. Maybe even some of the things that they've tried aren't working as well as they would like to. You've accomplished a number of extraordinary things. Is there anything else you would say to people out there that want to have a mind shift and to really live their extraordinary life?
Yeah, I think if they're anything like myself at the beginning and skeptical of how these things work, give it a crack. Make sure you bring an open mind to it and give it a crack.
Yeah, that's you, Mark. When I think about it, give it a crack. First you were, I'm not giving that, I don't even want to go there. You saw something happening, I'm going to give it a crack. And when you opened the crack, you opened it fully. And that's what really inspires me about you. There was the thing I got about you, there was never any resistance. It was just when you decided to trust it, you trusted it 100%, it takes a lot of courage to do. And I acknowledge you for that and for everything that you've accomplished. So if I were watching this episode, this is one that I would rewind a few times and watch through, and I would get my pen and paper, and there were some real moments in there to take deeper and deeper and to have what people could take in their life. So it's been quite a journey for us for this period of time. So I want to thank you for that. First of all, I have a wonderful job because I get to work with people like you and watch what you do with the work and consistently. And I want to also really thank you for being here today and sharing that with people. That's our mission, for as many people as possible to live your greatest life. And what you've shared today can just contribute to that to no end. So yeah, thank you for coming. Again, it's great to see you. I don't get to often since I moved. Been really great to catch up with you again. And thanks for being here and sharing.
It's great. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Great. Well, and thank you for watching this episode of the Mind Shift, and I hope you get a lot out of it, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.